Let's talk about the Clipse.
Let's do it.
They are, I guess we'll call this like where they're in the latter stages of one of the more thorough and detailed rollouts that we've seen by an artist in quite some time.
Absolutely.
Taking advantage of all the legacy, I mean that in the best way possible, sort of whatever remains of the legacy media apparatus around hip hop, all just desperate for content. And the Clipse were like, we got you. Don't worry. We're here.
We'll go. Let us know. Send us the addy. Drop
Right.
the low, as the kids say.
They don't say drop the low. Don't
Yeah,
tell
they
them.
do. They definitely do. Come on, I got two teenagers. Come on, man. Yeah, say drop the low. They all share each other's location, which on one hand is cool, but then on the other hand, it's like, all right. But I digress.
My father-in-law keeps trying to get us to share location. I'm like, no, I don't. You don't need to know where I am.
That's exactly what I told my daughter. I need to know where you are. You do not need to know where I'm at.
I'm glad my parents didn't know where yeah, great.
Listen.
Imagine I'm 19 years old. My parents are like, why are you, it's 2 a.m. Why are you at an off-campus apartment? And I'd be like, I don't know. Why are you tracking me? Clipse put out an album, Let God Sort 'Em Out, 13 songs. First single, Ace Trumpets. We talked about that in the show. No official video, but they went on Colors, did a performance there. Again, all these places that are just like, if you give people content. The crazy thing about the attention economy now is then people will do like reactions to your content. Like it's just stuff spins out. Now it has to be good and compelling, right? That helps.
Yeah.
And it helps that people like you. And I want to center my opinion about the album with this, which is that people like the Clipse.
Absolutely.
Very helpful.
It's funny. I want to create, because I want to talk about this divide. Travis Scott fans, Kanye West fans, Drake fans, all hate Pusha T, hate his guts.
It's the online like super fans, sure.
Yeah. Other than that, universally beloved.
Right.
Now that's returning after this fallout with Kanye, who people universally hate now.
People love a redemption story. They love a comeback.
And then you've got Pharrell, who...
We're going to talk about Pharrell.
Essentially like dumped this guy, but people are like, it's Pharrell. We still love him anyway.
I'm holding my... At some point, we're going to talk about Pharrell.
Okay.
Let's get there in a second. So, I'm sorry. Ace Trumpets, that was first single. Second single was So Be It. Was not on streaming services for a while, only on YouTube.
Yep.
We discovered that's because the sample was not cleared. Originally, the physical versions of the album did not have any. First of all, originally they didn't have a track list for the physical versions. Mm-hmm. And then they I don't know, at some point before the album release, they put the track list out and it was So Be It Part 2. People got excited.
I did.
Because Part 2 implies that there's more.
Yes.
Not So Be It on a different beat, which is what Part 2 was.
Yes. That would be a remix.
Kind of. Yeah. It's like a remix and I'm doing nothing different. I mean, the beat's different, and the tempo is different, as you pointed out, which is interesting. That's so weird. I don't know why it's a bad decision.
Because of the way that they deliver their verses on Part 1, which is 86 BPM, it just sounds and feels so much better.
It sits in a certain pocket.
Yes. Right? Where like with those extra 3 BPM that Part 2, like it feels rushed. Which is crazy because I guess we'll get I'll just say this. I like the beat for Part 2. I do.
I think the beat for Part... Yeah.
It's not as good as Part 1. But
it's not as good as Part 1.
I like the beat. It gave me an opportunity to play G.O.D. Part 3 for my son. Because that's what they channeled.
I don't think they just channeled it. So the credits online are weird because the credits online for So Be It all still reflect So Be It Part 2.
Okay.
The credits for So Be It Part 2 show programming by, you'll see this, we'll talk about this. This is sort of a strain through the album. Pharrell produces everything on here. That is true. He is the only producer. However, there are other people helping out. Earlier, I think maybe I was on the pre-show, I was talking about, either that or Side A, where I was talking about Kanye and how he would give out co-production credits to just about anybody who showed up. I think Pharrell is taking the opposite turn here. I suspect this is actually, honestly, at the core of the situation with Chad, which is that Pharrell is producing he is leading the show. That is 1,000,000% true. He's been leading the show for a long time. You look in his credits, you go back to the last NERD album, you go to his work on It's Almost Dry, other work, you're going to see a guy named Mike Larson is his longtime engineer, but also almost always has credits of programming, aka somebody actually doing stuff on the MPC or on the whatever, the MIDI, like at Pharrell's direction. Because Pharrell is a drum guy. And he obviously, we've seen footage of him in studios, he obviously can also play. But he is not like he does not appear to me to be like an intricate, like that was Chad, you know?
Agreed.
Like, have you heard of Neptune's Bridge since Chad went missing?
Not at all.
I'm not saying it was only him, but there was clearly some alchemy there, right? So all that to say, so some of the credits in the album also have programming credits from a group called Replay Heaven.
Okay.
Which they have credits on POV, also have credits, I think, connected to Soviet Part 2. Basically, what Replay Heaven does is they recreate samples for you. So, because Pharrell is sampling on this album, we're going to talk about the samples. He's sampling on this album. And I think what he did is he had Replay Heaven, basically like, for the Soviet Part 2, I think he had them basically create, like replay, probably,
God Part 3.
Part 3, that sample. And then he is manipulating that to make something similar, right? So anyway, yes, God Part 2. Soviet Part 2, not as good as Soviet Part 1. We're going to talk about Soviet when we get to that point in the track listing. Yeah, album did really well first week. 40K from physical sales. Just to give you a comparison, Oz's King's Disease, the first one, 7K first week. I mean, 90K is pretty good.
For a rappity rap, hippity hop artists who don't stream well. I'm curious though, when we talk about the numbers of this album, considering they had to pay an exorbitant amount of money to get out of the deal, Def Jam gets a percentage of the earnings from this album.
Sure.
What are we measuring success on? I'm genuinely asking.
Sure. I mean, for the Clipse, you know, they're not probably trying to make all their money from music. I don't mean that. Listen, they haven't put coke in a Maybach in forever. We're going to talk about the leniency that everybody gives the Clipse at some point. And God knows I love them too, but my God, these men are not putting coke in trunks. Okay, I don't know what to tell you.
Listen, Doc. On the days they weren't able, there was always Kane.
Always Kane.
Always Kane.
4.5 will get you in the game.
Anything less is a darn shame.
Darn shame. I mean, listen, this album is going to be nominated for Album of the Year, 100%, at the Grammys. Yeah, lock it in right now. If you can there are betting markets for everything. If there's a betting market for that right now, just lock that in. I don't gamble on anything ever. This album is going to be nominated for Album of the Year. Okay. Think about the people the age of people who are like now at award shows, voting for award shows. They're us. It's our generation, right?
Absolutely.
No offense. P-Rock and Common were nominated for that project. Okay. That album was fine, kind of targeting a very similar age bracket, maybe a smidge older for Common and P-Rock.
Yeah.
Maybe like 5 years older, but not that dissimilar.
Yeah. It's like 45, 45 and up. And I think for us, it's probably 38 and up.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So a little older, but nah, this Clipse album, they're going to get the Grammy nods. At least one. They'll probably get actually, there's quite a few songs in here you could tuck yourself into a Grammy. Chains and Whips is almost a shoo-in for like whatever the Grammy category is, where you're like, it's like you're collaborating with somebody else, like for the rap song. Like that's an absolute shoo-in. They'll nominate that. It's Kendrick.
I'm
Grammys
also
love
looking
Kendrick.
at Birds Don't Sing. John Legend is a Grammy darling. Stevie Wonder plays on the song. We're getting way ahead of ourselves.
Way ahead of ourselves. Anyway, so success for the Clipse in this case, like they are back. They were able to put if they decided they didn't want to make any more group albums, they could walk away knowing, because their last group album was a disappointment to almost everybody, including them.
Except Malice. Malice said he loves the album.
You know.
Pusha said he hates it, but Malice said
So they've been able to like write their own ending if they so choose, you know? So critically acclaimed, it'll have a good life. They'll be able to tour. They're going to tour based off of it. Like they're doing fine. This album is in all ways an absolute unqualified success to me. I don't know. I mean, unless there was like a Grindin-esque like surprise buried on this project that could cross over in some way, unless there was some surprise. Although it would be hilarious if something off here somehow went viral on TikTok and like all of a sudden people are discovering Pusha T. Aside from that, I don't know how they could have asked for anything more. Nobody who they would care about has anything bad to say about it.
When I think about how well this rollout was, I think it was a testament to their label experience in the past, where Hell Hath No Fury, they were walking against a lot of wind during that time with, Jive Records. And I think there's like a merger there. Like there was a bunch of stuff going on when they kind of got, shuffled under the table. And then by the time Till the Casket drops, comes out, they're very anti-industry, Malice included, which is one of the reasons, he says why he left. So it seems like they were like, yo, we owe it to ourselves if we're going to be independent, because this is a distribution deal with Roc Nation, right? So in a sense, it's like, it's Mindy, I would say, probably majorly
Sure.
independent. Yeah. I think they were very intentional about, we deserve to have a full-on rollout because of our experience in the past. I'm sure that was like a non-negotiable for them. Like, yeah, we're going to hit all the outlets. We're going to do all the interviews. We're going to do all the ones that quote unquote matter, because we owe it to our fan base and ourselves. That's the feeling that I got from them hitting all those spots, because good Lord, they talk to everybody. And crazy, this lets you know how tapped in. I've watched 5 or 6 different interviews, which is crazy. Why would I do that? Well, I'm invested. With that rollout, me and people like me are extremely invested in this album. This was supposed to come out last year?
Yeah. They were working on it since 2023 at least.
Yeah. So had it not been for Def Jam, this would have been old news by now. But
yeah. But here we are.
Here we are.
Anything else you want to say before we dive in?
I'm ready to dive in, man. Let's do it.